Guys, sit up straight. NFL management's about to join us here, okay? Clean up your workspace. Let me get mine ready. Hold on a minute. Joining us here is none other than the Executive Vice President of the National Football League in charge of media distribution, Hans Schroeder. Good to see you, Hans. How are you?
Hey.
What's up, great to see you, Rich and crew, and hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and thanks for having me on.
Come on,
great
man.
to be with you.
I'm sure you did. Where were you anywhere? Or were you home with the fam watching like the rest of America? Like, where were you?
We were home hosting about 18 people for Thanksgiving, our 3 St. Bernards. It was a full house. Like everybody watching football, like, you know, including the pups. So like
Jeez.
we had an incredible Thanksgiving weekend. It was the epitome of what Coach Madden said about, you know, food, family, and football being all together.
Hans, you've got 3 St. Bernards. What are you doing when you're not executive vice president and you're mountain rescue? What are you doing? What is this? What?
They're keeping the streets of Rye safe, Rich. You know, it's just Rye, New York, the tough streets.
Of
they're
Rye,
saving us.
the mean streets of Rye. If you're stuck in the snow, knock on the Schroeder's front door and ask for St. Bernard help. I love that, man. That is fantastic.
Well, I will tell you that they're big NFL viewers, though. They're with me every Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. They're on the couch with me watching. So,
brother, I'm telling you, like everyone else, did these numbers even surprise you, Hans?
Look, it was starting just quickly. The season's been incredible to date. You know, we're up 6%. I think we're pacing to be, you know, if not our highest viewed, right now we're sitting behind that 2015 high water mark. So it's been an incredible season overall to date. And, you know, as we went into Thanksgiving, we've had 3 straight years going into this year of just more and more viewership on Thanksgiving Day. And, you know, this year we had a ton of great matchups and some really fun ones with the NFC East, you know, playing the NFC North, with the AFC North playing the NFC North. And we looked at those matchups when we did the schedule last spring, and we said, you know what? Let's really look at some of these windows that stand apart, whether it's kickoff or Thanksgiving, and let's see how high up can be here. And look, I think we thought there was a lot of opportunity. We thought, you know, there was audience there that fully hadn't been captured before. But, you know, even to get to the levels of 57+ million for that game in Dallas, or 40, almost 48 in Detroit, we're talking levels of championship games. And so that was incredible to see. And I think reinforcing to us about, let's continue to push here. Let's see where our fans are and how we best serve them. So what an incredible day. And finished NBC at their highest game ever Thursday night, too. So just an awesome Thanksgiving all around.
And I love the Madden stuff, too, Hans. You know, I love what a great idea that was. You know, it's 4 years now and counting. And, you know, it's just great nostalgia for, you know, people my age or even a little bit older, and some maybe even younger. And for me to turn to my kids as we're watching, I'm like, yeah, that video game guy, no. Sit down and take a look, you know, about what he is as well, or was, you know. It's pretty cool.
And Rich, it's such a great point. And like, again, I'm in that same sort of age group, and sort of, you just think about how special Coach Madden was and how many people he brought into football. But on Thanksgiving and that unique day, and the cool part is, he worked for all of our partners at one point in time.
Right.
He literally, and so, you know, it's an idea to give credit where credit's due. I think Pete Abitante and some of the folks at the league, Roger and the commissioner, says, like, how can we push and celebrate Coach here? But our partners have really jumped on board there. And and what really brings that to life in the best way is what they do authentically with his presence, with his history on Thanksgiving. And to me, that was really magical how they did that across all 3 games on Thursday with the tribute from Coach's presence on each of their networks. It was really
right.
cool.
That's right. All 3 of them have video of him in their booths, you know, CBS, Fox, and NBC. And I just loved, I mentioned it the other day on the show here, Jason Garrett's stories that he was able to share, including that menu from a dinner that he was having with Madden, talking about Derek Jeter's famous flip play in a playoff game. And I'm saying, you know, you just choose Jeter first and then decide what sport you're playing next. And then they had a draft of other athletes in that regard. And then he had the menu of the writing down of his team and Madden's team and that. You know, you can't beat it. That was great.
That was so great, so cool. The keeping of the turkey leg was a bit interesting, and how long that stayed in his freezer.
I wondered because
he and Brill need to go to that freezer a little bit more.
I wanted him to
often.
open it up just to see what does a 30-year-old frozen turkey leg administered post game to him by John Madden. What does that look like?
It's a keeper. You know, everybody fights over the leg, right? He kept the leg that year.
I love that. Hans Schroeder here, the NFL EVP of Media Distribution here on the Rich Eisen Show after a monster weekend for the Thanksgiving weekend and season for the ratings and partners of the National Football League here on the Rich Eisen Show. So let me hit you on a few other subject matters that I'm sure are on your plate. I'm sure you're asked about it a lot. The international series, you know, I've been calling a few of these games. Where do we go from where it currently is? Are we looking to have a full season of international games that you're now going to sell off to another partner potentially? Is that the idea here, Hans?
Look, I think the idea starts with just continuing to grow the game, and we think there's so much opportunity ahead of us. We're going to have flag football in the Olympics in 28, and hopefully Brisbane after that. But you, Rich, maybe even better than me, you're there, you're part of it every year. You've seen the games, whether in London or whether in Germany or this past year in Sao Paulo, and that excitement and the energy and what we see in each of those markets where we take our games. You know, for us, it's only reinforced the view of there's more opportunity out there. And we think, and certainly I believe, it's the greatest game there is. And so the more opportunity to bring that to more people around the world, we think that's a good thing. I think we definitely know we're excited. We'll be back in Brazil next year in Rio. We're also going to be back in Australia, which is a super fun way to start the year in Melbourne with week one. And I think we're working on the rest of the schedule and where else we'll be around the globe. But I think you'll see that continue to grow. The commissioner's been pretty public about his view that there's an opportunity to play more games. So need a little bit more time to lock in that schedule next year. Hopefully you'll be part of it.
Sure.
In some way, shape, or form, because you do such a great job with those games.
Man.
But yeah, I think we're just still on the tip of the iceberg. And look, we're always sensitive. We know we're taking those games and sometimes out of home markets. But you know, it's an awesome thing to see some of those clubs be celebrated in those different markets around the world. And again, we just think there's a lot more there ahead of us.
No, I hear you. I mean, you're meeting fans where they are. I see it, you know. And again, the games in Germany, for instance, it's not people who sound like us. They're legit locals that are going to this game that might have fallen in love with it from the NFL Europe days.
They're named like me, though.
That's right.
Like,
they
some of them are named like me.
I've met a few Hanses and Schroeders. You know, I have met them. But it's for real, and there's, you know, the NBA shouldn't be one of the only sports that actually sells itself abroad from the United States, and the NFL does have fans where they meet them. And I'll tell you, I do speak to friends of mine who love the four windows of football. They just love, you know, that fourth morning window of football, and certainly it's a little bit early out here in Los Angeles, but it's awesome. And for those of us who work at NFL Network, it's great to see games on our air as well. You know, the question is are you hearing from partners of the NFL saying we want to get in on this? So let's get more of these games as fourth window, and we'll take a package from you.
Absolutely.
Are you hearing
and
that?
Look, and you hit on a great point. The NFL Network, I think we're up over 30% this year with those 9:30 windows. They've had 6 games in that time slot. And look, I think certainly we have a lot of considerations there with West Coast fans for West Coast teams. But, you know, we look at that 9:30 window. It's an incremental way to just give fans more football on a Sunday, which we think is exciting. It's also internationally. It's in a time slot that gets games into a really attractive viewing period in Europe, also reaches parts of Asia in prime time on Sunday where some of our other games don't do that. So as we think about engaging the world, we really thought that 9:30 slot and believe that 9:30 slot's becoming more and more you know, embraced by our fan base and excited that there's just more football on those Sundays. And so, you know, we definitely think it's something we're going to build on. We've certainly had other partners ask about it. We think NFL Network has done a great job building it. So, you know, we'll see where the future goes. But I think, you know, we're here to stay at 9:30, and there's probably going to be more of them in the future.
Well, I mean, again, speaking on behalf of all of my colleagues and yours as well, you know, at NFL Network, we love it. It's great. And, you know, and obviously we love being NFL Network as well. So, if you don't mind me asking here, what's the future for NFL Network that you can share with me and everyone else? I know this is sort of the internal stuff that we talk about on our team meetings and things like that. Where do things stand on that front, on the media front?
Well, we announced, the partnership with ESPN back in August, and I think we've been working hard and continuing to advance through that process. Look, for me, and having been around, I started my career at the NFL in 2001. One of the first things I did in 2003 was work and help develop the business plan and be part of the team that launched NFL Network. Saw you come on board and many, many others, working with Steve Bornstein and team.
Yes.
It's been amazing to see the ride, but the media landscape continues to change. And so one of the real exciting things to me about this partnership is it's going to find a home for NFL Network for the future that's going to make it stronger. It's going to make it stronger for the network. It's going to make it stronger for the fans and football fans everywhere. When you think about what ESPN can bring and add to the network with all their production capabilities, all their infrastructure, what they invest in football, and what they'll continue to invest and grow from a football fan perspective, we think it's only going to make networks stronger, more programming, more distribution in the future, including on ESPN Unlimited. So I'm pretty excited about how the journey of the NFL Network has continued through different phases. And I think the next chapter ahead with ESPN is a really exciting one. So a lot of work to get there, but hopefully it's, as the landscape changes around us, this is a way to sort of have a bigger and better future for NFL Network.
Well, listen, I've mentioned this to you off air. I'll say it here on air. Obviously, I echo that sentiment as somebody who's finishing this show on Disney Plus and ESPN app and ESPN Radio today, and then doing it on Friday, and then doing game day morning for NFL Network on Sunday. I'm kind of standing in the middle of waiting. Is there, I understand this is like Fight Club. Do we know when T's are crossed and I's dotted on this? What do you think?
We're still working through the process, Rich, so nothing more I can really add or share there. But,
sure.
We're hard at it, and on both ends, and we're going to stay at it. And again, we think there's a great day ahead for both NFL Network and ESPN. But you're right. You're at this interesting place. You can see into both worlds and hopefully see why we think that vision of how it can come together is such a great one.
I live it every day.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I'm not just saying that because we're on live Disney, air right now. But I do live it every day. And in terms of that, I love living it every day. My contract's up next year, Hans. I'm going to send you a term sheet. I'm going to cross Lane Kiffin's name out and just put my name in and sign it, send it to you. Just send it back to me whenever you want. Okay.
And it'll be interesting to see who you take with you too, Rich. Like, that's
I'm not going anywhere.
Deals, right?
No. Forget about the leaving stuff. This is the staying. It's and there'll be some numbers on it. I'm not aware of what they are. I don't know what they are. I've just heard they're good. I'm just going to send it to you. Just again, it's Rich Lane, same number of letters. Just going to cross it out. Kiffin's a little longer than Eisen. It might be a little bit different, but I'll sign it. You send it back, and then we're good, right?
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
It's done. This is binding, guys. This is binding.
Right. Well,
I heard it.
Feller is
It's binding.
He's
my
notary.
audio executive who's working the board over there, he says he was a notary. So you are now, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Got you. Official.
See, there we go.
Hans ain't buying it.
All right, very good. And the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, once again, Super Bowl 60. That's going down. Any idea when are we going to hear more cities named? Where are we on that for down the road for future Super Bowls? Hans, anything that you can share?
Peter O'Reilly and team are hard working at that, Rich.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a ton of interest, and everywhere we go, that's another area. You talk about the viewership and how that just continues to grow on Thanksgiving.
What's that number looking like? Give me a number. What do you think for Super Bowl 60 based on these numbers? Right? I know you don't want to talk. That's Fight Club. I know you don't want to talk about that. We're putting anything in the ether.
I just think to your question, like the Super Bowl, regardless of where it is, they continue to make it bigger, better, and you see that certainly how it comes to life when you're in a city over those weekends. But you also see that for our fans and how it comes to life with our partners. So, nothing to share there, but
okay.
Hopefully, that we're excited about sort of the opportunities in the cities that we have ahead of us with Super Bowl. It's a great selection, a lot of interest, and I think that'll be great, as we look out where we're going to be.
Yeah, let me know however I can help hosting here in Los Angeles next year. My house is yours, Hans, as you know, always. Always.
Thank you, Rich. That's very kind of you.
Who's that photograph of over your left shoulder? Who is that? Who's that person?
That is my father.
No
that's
kidding.
back in sort of 1962. He was a coach, young coach at West Point, where he, soon worked with Bill Parcells and, a bunch of Bill Battle and Ken Hatfield, and was sort of a cradle of coaches in the early 60s in West Point. And so I just thought that was a special one. One of our partners sent me that a few years ago, and it's, he passed a few years ago actually on Super Bowl morning, but it was something I, wanted his presence. And, he obviously was so formative in shaping my love for the sport and playing the sport and otherwise. So a great way to sort of remember Dad every day.
Football is family, right? That's what we always say. Hans, thanks for the time, man. I appreciate you, coming on here. Anytime.
Thanks, buddy. Anytime, man. Stay well. Hope a great holiday season.
We will.
Hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and thanks for having me, Rich.
You got it, man. I'll see you on game day morning, Sunday morning, all 4 hours.
Yes, you will.
I will be there. That's Hans Schroeder,
Thanks,
everybody,
Al.
NFL Executive Vice President of Media Distribution, right here on The Rich Eisen Show, and I expect a ratings boost just from that. Millions. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app, 12 to 3 Eastern.